Questions? Yes?
In media, in entertainment media today, it's pretty popular to kind of portray the church as historically secular, learning, and standing as an enemy to science and reason, especially sort of as the villain of the Renaissance. But from what you've shared with us today, it seems that the church has historically valued reason and learning. So how would you respond when people flippantly just dichotomize the institutional church and reason, and how would you recommend that we respond to that?
No, that's a good question. If you think about it, Copernicus and Galileo, troubling scientific hypotheses and theories in both cases. The church was totally fine with Copernicus. They honored Copernicus entirely. Galileo, on the other hand, there were problems. What's really the intervening variable? Frankly, the intervening variable is the Reformation. The church felt that the church had been stung by the Reformational claim that it was too philosophical and not biblical enough. And so the problem of the relationship between science and biblical faith became more pressing, and the church it was almost, as I understand the events, it was almost under political pressure from the force of the Reformational arguments that the church was driven in the case of in the famous Galileo case. So that's there are additional elements of that. The other fundamental thing is what constitutes a science. Scientia is generally said to be, actually, if you think about it, scientia is deductive. It's something which is demonstrative. It's something which cannot not be in a demonstration. The nature of the natural sciences is inductive. And so the question that stood before everyone was, okay, this new way of thinking about things that is more inductive, is that really scientia? That's the other very substantial issue that's debated in the Galileo case. And frankly, what I describe as the instrumental rational nature of science, natural sciences and social sciences, remains a sort of different thing from sort of mathematical demonstration. And the church, we have great confidence in science, but on the other hand, it's not math. I mean, it doesn't have the solidity of math, and the certainty of math. So, what I would suggest on the general question of understanding it better is read more, because it's very hard to argue in a sort of a vacuum of ignorance. When you sort of whip off the elements of the Black Legend, for example, that the church is this boogeyman through time that does terrible things to people, and I think that you'll find that on science it just ain't so. I mean, there's been a Vatican observatory for hundreds of years, that's sponsored by the Pope, and there was an interest in the sciences. The Jesuits were some marvelous scientists in the Jesuit tradition, emerging out of that period. So the curiosity, to my mind, the curiosity of the Galileo case is that what drives the church on that matter is the political situation of the day with respect to the Reformation.